So moving to the second point that I'd like to make, calories are the answer for energy and for weight management, but not nutrition. So this is the stuff that you were just hinting at. I wrote an article. Oreos work, right? So
they're effective. They're fuel.
Yeah. If you want to lose weight, you can eat 1,500 calories of Oreos in a day and you'll lose weight. It just doesn't mean that you're going to be healthy. And again, that's why it's important for us to kind of remove calories for the conversation. So what I'd like to do is talk about where would you find your calorie goals, just in case you're curious of what they are, what's realistic and what's unhealthy. And, just the idea, from a bigger perspective here, that it took you a long time to get the weight that you were, Mark, right? It takes me a long time, a lot of effort through Europe to eat lots and lots of
you worked hard.
Pasta and Nutella and all of that stuff. It took effort. I should not expect 3 days of being home to be back at the weight that I was before after working so hard diligently to gain that weight. So,
and the other piece of this too, for me, is the quality of the nutrients and the quality of the calories. So if I ate 1,500 calories worth of Oreos, I would have like the gastric nightmare scenario. So I don't even want to get into, we talked about dumping syndrome in another episode, but the mess that would create, I don't want to even start. But the second piece of that is, I notice, and this weekend I took my wife to away for the weekend. We had nice meals, and I wasn't worried about my meal planning or any of that stuff. And it's hard when I'm off site and I'm out in the world, because I have to really pay attention when I'm out in the world, because I don't have the same amount of control over my food that I would when I'm home. I ate like garbage stuff all weekend. I feel physically right now depressed, sad, angry. I just want to throw stuff. I'm irritable. That is directly related to my diet. It's directly related to what I just ate. I know that if I put water in my system, I put protein in my system, I put all these macronutrients in that my body needs, that I'm getting used to this new body, right? Because every stage in this, I've had to eat differently. So that's the other thing I'll talk about, is every stage in this, I've had to look at where my body is and then eat for the body that I have. And that's all of us. Right. That's everybody. So a lot of this is trial and error. An error would be me trying to eat 500 Oreos and seeing what that would do. I'm pretty well aware of what it would do, but
it just makes you feel like crap. I mean,
it makes me feel terrible. And that's important to say here. Like, part of this is just like not even weight loss. Just like, do you want to feel terrible? Because when I eat sugar like that, I feel, in the moment, I feel great.
Right.
But afterwards, not just the shame and guilt of having eaten it, but I just feel physically awful, like mental health wise. I don't feel good.
Calories are the answer for energy and weight management, but not nutrition. And that's important. If Mark wanted to lose weight before his surgery, he was required to reduce the calories he was eating in order for the pounds to come off. We have general rules of thumb on what to do. And in fact, there are great calculators. In fact, I think it's calculator.net/calorie, I believe is the URL. We'll link it in the show notes. But calculator.net has these great calculators that use modern formulas for metabolic rate and all of this stuff to come up with a plan for how many calories you should have once you're ready for that part of the conversation. And, we're talking about weight loss, so you would have to run a calorie deficit for that to happen. Very simple stuff. If the example of Oreos, if you can eat garbage, and as long as the calories are under your goal, you're going to lose weight. Just the opposite. If you need to gain weight, which is something that this is what brought this conversation on. It wasn't weight loss. It was more weight gain. I have lots of senior citizen patients that their nutrition goes to garbage and they're rail thin and then they don't want to eat anymore. And so now they have to gain weight, and they're thinking just like you and I want to lose weight overnight. They want to gain weight overnight. And so, how we use calories to both lose and gain weight is slowly. Realistic goals have to be set, and we will improve the calories. But if with a choice of the food that we have, the habits that we have are poor, then we will feel like garbage. It's really funny because, like, just as an aside, cleanses, it's something that I've always kind of taken objection to. I don't agree with cleanse protocols and cleanse products. I think that there are a lot of parlor tricks and there's a lot of nonsense, and a lot of people, but at the same time, I also understand the value of them, because people are people, and we need psychological resets sometimes.
Yep.
We need to be able to say, I'm doing this thing that's dramatic so I can get my life in order. Right?
Go to the other side, which I get. I get it for that and that alone.
Totally. But, and people will report that they feel better, but they've gone from their crappy diets to eating either just fruits or, just lots of water and then no more sugar. And just that slight change of increasing your fluids, reducing your calories, and getting rid of simple sugars is what make people feel better. That's what matters more than any of that other stuff. I think that it's very important to understand that. Mark had touched on a couple things that are higher level, earlier conversations in nutrition way before calories. And I just touched on it with the idea of energy. Calories are the answer for energy. People come to me and they say, I need something, I need a supplement for energy. Or another one is like, I am getting fuzzy, foggy thinking. I'm having memory problems. Everybody is rightfully fearful of dementia and resulting Alzheimer's related dementia. That's a big boogeyman right now, and everybody's scared of it. And the simple answer is that normally those things that you're talking about, energy levels, concentration, focus, and like those like little memory things, is your body telling you that you're not getting the right calories at the right time. And so when we build habits where we're eating the right types of nutrients frequently throughout the day, timed based on how we handle food, we will maintain our energy levels. And, it's really funny. Like, I want more energy, and they go for a vitamin. Well, you don't get energy from vitamins. You get it from calories. You get that from the macronutrients is where you get it from.
And I'm a big macronutrient guy.
Yeah.
Love macronutrients. And I'm also of the mindset, in the same exact way that I can get my energy from food and water, because the water really helps with my energy levels too. Movement, physical movement, my working my body weight stuff. It seems like I should be worn out afterwards, but the way that I do my exercises, the way that I work my yoga into my life, I feel energized. I feel pumped. I have worked on my breathing. It's connected to my body. That stuff, on top of the nutrition, on top of the timing, is how you build energy. It seems counterintuitive that I have to expend energy to get energy, but it is absolutely true. On the short end, obviously, right afterwards, I'm a little tired, I'm worn out.
Right.
But long term, I get those energy gains throughout the day. And so when people say to me that they're having low energy, part of that is going to obviously be this nutrition stuff we're talking about. If you're eating garbage, you're not going to have energy. That's true.
Yep.
The physical movement piece, Neal, is a huge part of that. And you know that because you had to gun yourself around Europe.
Oh, geez. I can't wait till we talk about that on the off the record thing. It was ridiculous. Definitely check that out if you haven't already subscribed to our off the record conversations.
They're on the off the record. They know.
Thank goodness.
Yeah.
So I think it's important that we understand that from a calories perspective, it is something that you will need to know if you plan on losing weight. There are healthy ways to do that. Realistically, you don't want to lose more than 1 or 2 pounds a week. So the idea that, you're 10 pounds overweight and you're going to lose 5 pounds the first week, and then you're going to feel great, and then you can slow down after that, it kind of speaks to a bigger problem when it comes to this stuff. And that's the conversation that I'm normally having with people, is that this has less to do with the calories that everybody else is making very important, and more to do with your relationship to food.
Big time.
And, some people will overeat to deal with stress, usually with M&Ms or booze. I don't know those kinds of people, but I've heard of them. And so, we may use food in a way, and we might have a very unhealthy relationship with food. We're too busy. We need comfort foods to help us manage our emotions. And so we have this very unhealthy relationship with food. And so
the other piece too is a reward. It's a reward system. So I use food as a reward with myself, with my daughter. I take her for treats. It's a real thing that's built in our society. And so it's easy to say, oh, well, your relationship with food, and think of it in a negative way.
Yeah.
It's a very positive part of my life too. Everything I've done ever has a food component to it. You go to a celebration, you go to a ball game, food's everywhere.
Yeah. We, in order to get Mark to do the podcast, we actually put a biscuit on his nose.
There's biscuits.
Yeah. That's just like a little puppy.
It's
He's
delicious.
like a little pugsley. The thought that I'm having here around this relationship with food conversation is that calorie discussions in everyone's minds, that building out these plans is a temporary thing. And that's another piece to it. Like the idea that this is my third point, we forget that we still have to eat. We still have to kind of keep moving. We have to constantly be nourishing ourselves and supporting ourselves throughout the day, that we can't have these quick losses. And there's going to come a point where you're not going to have the stamina to do this anymore. And you're going to use like getting off of your new calorie restriction as a reward system.
Absolutely.
And so it's, that's telling to me about what the real problem is and how we can really help with your nutrition.
And so what I'm going to say is going to make people very angry, but I'm going to say it anyway, because that's what we do here. Mm-hmm. Cheat days are a terrible idea. They're awful. And I don't want to say that to people who want to give themselves a break or want to have, or they're working on their relationship with food. I have a cheat day, do whatever you want. But I'm here to say, for me, changing my relationship with food meant that I couldn't live like that. So I can't say, hey, let me go have a couple of donuts here and there, because that's not how I eat donuts. I eat 5,000 of them and then my belly explodes and I want to vomit everywhere. That's how my relationship with food has had to change. And so for me, when people say, oh, I've been really good this week. That's how people talk about eating. I've been so good this week. I've really earned whatever the thing is. Anytime someone starts talking like that as a framework, I'm concerned, because that's the thinking that keeps you stuck. And so it doesn't move you forward in this stages of change that Neal's describing from that 1, 2, 3 vitality.